I was probably getting high, but I don't remember. I blacked out too many times. I was on.
I said I don't like no niggas, man. Where you at? Don't it say
เรื่องราวอันน่าเศร้าซึ่งกล่าวว่าเธอเป็นนักร้องสาวผู้มีใจกระหายหาความยิ่งใหญ่ที่ข้อเสนอได้รับการ
He stands frozen, a monument to human patience. Winter has carved him with cold precision. Frost clings to his lashes like ghostly barnacles. That was then. This is how we play now.
Summer Friday's jet lag collection is so good at hydrating my skin when it's looking dry. I use the eye patches to start and follow up with the soothing jet lag mist. For my under eyes, I'll use the jet lag overnight eye serum, and I'll make sure I'm only doing one. Then my routine with the hydrating serum and a thin layer of the jet lag mask. It's the best base for makeup. Shop now at Sephora.
Hey, what's up, Gus here. So as many of you know, I have been playing a lot of Skull Merchant lately, have kind of moved into being a Skull Merchant main. I'm also someone who used to play the game a lot back in 2016 when the game first came out, 2017. I quit in 2018 and have been out of Dead by Daylight for years. What I've come back recently is the game feels a little bit more fun these days, kinda, sorta. Those gosh darn paladins. But anyway, I just wanted to weigh in on the changes for Skull Merchant since I am someone who has been playing a lot of Skull Merchant and have been having a lot of success on Skull Merchant. So, let's start at the top here. Increase the drone rotation speed by about 10%. I don't feel like this has any real impact on the game. The only thing drone rotation speed might help with is regenning, which is a pretty miserable strategy. It really only works against your low and your mid and your upper tier survivors. Your high tier survivors are really good about making sure that they don't have gens. So it's kind of useless against them, but for everybody else, it's a nearly unbeatable strategy, and it's a very miserable one because it's one that feels like there isn't really any counterplay.
Crazy.
I don't know, I just don't see this doing that much because there was already a add-on that did this. I've used that now obviously you could combine this with the add-on to get an even faster scan line, and maybe with that you will get some kind of uniform scanning that you can throw on a loop that will be very impactful, but I doubt it. Because on a loop, hands down, the best add-on is low power mode, which turns your drone into a tripwire, and you can just put the tripwire across where the pallet is. Every time they run the loop on the pallet, they get scanned. Like, you can't really beat that. So I don't see the rotation speed as doing anything except for empowering. So, now we have the to 10%. This is a little bit more impactful because I use the add-on that already did that 10%. And that hinder was often just enough to be able to outplay a loop where I could get a hit on a hindered survivor. And then, of course, if someone gets hindered, they run through a drone and get hindered trying to W away, I would definitely get the hit there. But, so I do like it. It is a buff. But this means that the add-on, going up to 12% hindered, you get a little bit more of a diminished return, which isn't great. So I just feel like I probably won't be using that add-on anymore, which would be fine if Skull Merchant had any other add-ons that were really a non-buff to me as well. And then we have decrease 10 seconds, which feels like a pretty big buff, but at the same time, I don't really know what scenario this is referring to. Like, if you're wanting to outplay a loop and you wanted to set up 2 drones, 7 seconds is still an incredibly long amount of time. Like, that's not great. There's no threshold that gets crossed where you have a play that you want to make and then you can, and going from 10 to 7 seconds suddenly allows you to make that play. It doesn't. Now, if you want to set up like drones in an area, instead of taking 30 seconds to do that, well, I guess it would be 30 seconds. I guess it would be 20 seconds. Instead of 20 seconds, you set up drone 1 and then pull down, and then drone 2 and so you go from 30 seconds to 20 seconds instead of like watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Granger knows that if you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, you go to great lengths, and sometimes heights, to ensure the power is always flowing. Which is why you can count on Granger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Odds, and if you're new to this channel, we play a lot of Dead by Daylight, mostly live on stream while chatting to our audience. Now, during all of these years, I've seen so many suggestions to change the game better, and I've come to classify them in roughly 4 categories. The first ones are good ideas that will likely happen at some point in the future, such as, for example, having more information in the endgame screen, seeing more stats. That would be awesome, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have this feature in the future. Then, second, we have the ideas that are really good, but will probably never happen, such as being able to rejoin a game after accidentally disconnecting, or having a replay mode. This would be amazing to have, but the developers have explained that due to some technical limitations, these features will probably never happen. So it would be nice, but you just can't do anything about some of these things. Then we have the ideas that are really terrible, and they're very obviously terrible. Some people suggest that survivors, for example, should play in first-person mode, which would be fun for a little bit, but obviously the whole game would not survive with such a change. And these ideas are really easy to dismiss. I honestly don't feel like you need more than a minute to talk about each of them. But the fourth type of idea is the ones that we're going to discuss in this video. The ideas that seem good at first, or seem like they could be really nice for the game, but there is something really problematic about each of them that makes them impossible or even damaging to the game. And sometimes I don't find myself able to talk about each of these ideas and why it wouldn't work for DVD, so I'm making this video to address all of them at once. And the first one, this seems like such a good idea, and as a content creator I should be completely on board. Just make DVD free to play. Dead by Daylight right now has a very generous monetization. You can unlock many of the characters for free. The base game is only $20, sometimes less, sometimes even free for a weekend. Why not just make it free completely so that anyone can play, and then you can just make money by selling tons of Sable skins to new players. That would be amazing. As a content creator, my audience would probably grow even larger, and I should be completely on board. But there's an unfortunate reality, which is that DVD does not have a solid anti-cheat problem. And this is not really theoretical. If you remember, some years ago, Dead by Daylight was indeed free for a weekend. During that weekend, anyone that claimed the game on the Epic Games Store managed to secure it for life. And this was, I think, one of the biggest catastrophes, one of the biggest blunders that DVD has ever made. In that weekend, cheater groups managed to snag thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of free accounts that now had DVD forever. And these accounts sit somewhere until someone buys cheats, and then they use this account, and when they get banned for cheating, well, they just move on to another account that's also free. It made cheating so prevalent afterwards. Don't get me wrong, even if it can help cheaters find other ways to get cheap accounts, but it definitely didn't help. Making DVD free to play would make the cheater problem 1,000 times worse, I am convinced. And sadly, that's all you need to hear about it. If this wasn't a problem, if we had a more solid anti-cheat or better safety mechanisms, I wouldn't mind it. If there was some kind of like phone number that you need to use your phone to validate, that would be okay. But then you open a whole can of worms, because in a lot of countries it's impossible to do that. So yeah, probably the way it should be, keep DVD as a small price to make cheaters have to pay a lot of money if they want to buy multiple accounts, ideally, and that should be the best compromise, and make everything else in the game cheap or free. That's probably how it should be. Another one that gets asked really commonly is why not just remove the blood point cap? Nowadays, you can have 5 million blood points in your account, which is really generous. And now we have the spending feature that you can spend all your blood points immediately, so it's great. But for a long time, we had a 2 million blood cap. And for an even longer time before that, we had a 1 million blood point cap. And trust me, I am the person in the world that hates this cap more than anyone else. I hated this. Every time I play the video on stream, I need to stop and then spend points because I'm at the cap, and I start my stream and I need to spend 15 minutes wasting time spending blood points. It's super annoying. But the developers have explained why they need it, and honestly, I completely agree. The first one, and it's a bit of a no-brainer, is also cheaters. If you have a blood point cap where your blood points for the most part cannot go past 1 million, and then you see an account that has 999 million, then it's really easy to tell who is cheating, because cheaters sometimes mess with numbers and that makes them really easy to detect. So it's really nice that you have some kind of limit that makes it easy to tell whether someone is cheating or not. The other one that I think is maybe even more important is account farming and account selling. There is a booming economy in DBD, especially in the Eastern territories, where people play with DBD, they farm, they load into a game with an auto clicker, they get, I don't know, 1,000 blood points, and they do this 24/7, and then they get iridescent shards, and then they sell the account maybe a few months later for a few bucks, and the account already has some characters unlocked or some stuff unlocked. If blood points could be hoarded forever, it would really become a problem, because a lot of people would literally just farm blood points, maybe obtain them illegally, and then sell accounts that have unlimited blood points, so that it would be really attractive, and it would have a really bad intersection with cheating as well, because you would buy an account and you wouldn't know if it's legit or not, so it could be really troublesome. Another one that I don't think is so important for us, but that is important for the developers, is retention and people playing the game at key times. The developers explain that if the blood cap is too high or is non-existent, what many players will do when a new chapter comes out is they will load into the game, they will unlock the new characters, they will pump a lot of blood points, they will unlock all the perks, and then they stop playing. Whereas if there is a cap, you can't really do that because you cannot hoard BP. So instead you spend 1 million, which took a while back in the day, then you played a bit more, maybe you spend another 1 million, and then you take a break, but you've already played the game a little bit more, you've engaged with the community, so it makes the player base look more vibrant and more alive. So I kind of understand that, it makes sense. Another one that is going to inevitably happen, the developers have already announced that there will be some kind of reward for hitting Prestige 100. But some people are being a little bit unreasonable about this. Some people expect to have crazy rewards, maybe a unique item or something that even affects gameplay, and this definitely shouldn't happen. The rewards for hitting Prestige 100 should be pretty small. I say this as someone with several P100s. I say this as someone that plays the game a lot, that could easily get a lot of them compared to the average player. Prestige 100 is an insane, absurd grind. For Prestiges 1 to 3, you get some rewards. From Prestiges 4 to 6, you get some rewards.
It's like I'm in a
From
story I heard
Prestiges
at the Moonstone.
7 to 9, you get like 3 tiny little charms for each character, right? And then from Prestiges 10 to 99, you get nothing. Nothing. It's such an insane grind. There is absolutely no one in hell that has Prestige 100 every character, because it's such an absurd grind. It's really unrealistic to expect any player to do that for everyone, and it's really unrealistic to even expect casual players to do it multiple times. So the reward for P100 will have to be some small cosmetic, some small badge or something like that, maybe something that you get one time when you hit 1 P100, and that's it. Otherwise, we generally are putting a really unhealthy pressure on newer players to spend 90 levels for 90 prestiges for nothing. So no reward from Prestige 9 to Prestige 100 is just, I think in my opinion, a really bad system. So yeah, please, no huge or crazy rewards for P100. Another thing that people have suggested for so long is to have the ability to craft items out of other items, or to resell add-ons that you don't want. And this one comes from a very natural place. If you play a lot of DBD, you're gonna have hordes, and I mean massive mountains of certain add-ons or certain offerings or certain whatevers that you get in the Blood Bowl that are kind of useless. You're never gonna use them. You will literally never, ever, ever use them. They're gonna sit there forever. And many players naturally expect the developers to do something about this. What if I could turn this into something else? What if I could sell this to get some BP back? The idea of reselling doesn't seem so bad, and I kind of understand it, but I think this has two major problems. Number one, our disparity. There are some people that started playing a year ago, and there are some people that have been playing this game for 9 years straight. I know some players that have tens and tens and tens of thousands of add-ons on each of their killers. If you make a system that gives these players a way to make money, you are going to create an elite, small elite of players that suddenly have hundreds of thousands of blood points compared to everyone else, which doesn't feel really fair. And the other problem with crafting or reselling add-ons is that you basically encourage players to use the meta even more. So as we know right now, offerings, it used to be map offerings and maybe blood point offerings, and nobody bothered about anything else, right? No luck offerings, no small BP offerings. If you make it so that some things are resold, this game is going to feel even more like a casino where you have to, you know, jank the lever, get what you want, no, okay, sell it, do it again. It would just be a much better idea to rework all of the offerings, rework all of the add-ons, rework all of the things that show up in the blob web, and make each of them at least somewhat usable. Give them at least one scenario where you would want to use each of them. That, I think, is a better idea than to allow you to resell them, which, as I said, would benefit some players very, very much. I would be able to get massive blood points for no reason, just because I've been hoarding items for a very, very long time. In a very similar vein, some people expect the developers to make some items extremely, extremely rare. So, for example, when you talk about items that are really, really powerful, that have a big impact in the game, such as iridescent add-ons on Oni, iridescent add-ons on Killer, or Oni doesn't have very good iridescent ones, or maybe syringes on Survivors, on brand new parts on Survivors, things like that. They are like, okay, these items are fine, they should just be extremely, extremely rare. The way to balance them is to make them very, very, very scarce. And this is not the way to go. In my opinion, you should make all of the items balanced and assuming that you could find them every single match, and not make them just something that should be like an insane one-time use. The problem if you make certain items really, really rare is that it's going to help players that play the game a lot, that already have a lot of reserves of that item. If the item is a new item that nobody has, that could work a little bit better, but still, anyone that has a billion trillion blood points would be able to get a lot of these items, and anyone that plays the game casually would not be able to. So if you're playing Trapper and you play the game very little, and you play against survivors that have crazy rare items and you don't bring crazy rare items yourself, it would not feel really fair. I think that would accentuate some of the issues that you have in DBD rather than make them better. So I really, really fundamentally disagree with this idea. And there's another option, sad aspect to consider when we talk about this idea, and it's the fact that people use save injectors. Today, this week, this year, you probably have played against hundreds, if not thousands of players with items that are not legitimately obtained. I have seen a lot of people get banned in DBD because they trusted someone, because they bought some cheat, because they bought an account that came with 9,999 of every item. Some people do not want to grind the game. They will pay for shortcuts, they will use cheats, they will buy accounts that have every item, you know, multiplied by an absurd amount. And if these rare items could be used every match because they're cheated in, how would you know? How exactly would you know if you play against, say, I don't know, 4 survivors with 4 super mega rare items? How would you know that they are cheating? You wouldn't. You would have no way to know. So yeah, really not a big fan of this idea. We're now getting a little bit more into the gameplay and the lobbies. Let's talk about the idea of making all lobby backgrounds available. This is one that gets asked a lot because every time we have a new chapter or some crazy new event, the appearance of the game changes. We get a different background. Sometimes it's really colorful, sometimes it's iconic for different reasons, and people get attached to these backgrounds. They like them. Or maybe they even hate them and they want to go back to the default one, right? I think the ability to go back to the default one, that one's not a bad idea. Having the ability to switch between the current theme background and the normal one, in case the light or the color is uncomfortable to your eyes, that's completely fine. But having all of the backgrounds stored in the games for you to switch and pick which one you want, even though it sounds really, really cool, just has the problem of file size. Each of these backgrounds has assets, sounds, things that take up a lot of space, and eventually they get recycled and removed in patches. But if you had to have all of them, it would just make the game much larger in file size. We already have an issue with DBD where sometimes a small update forces you to re-download the entire game, and you're sitting there downloading 40 gigabytes of information, and it's already pretty bad as it is. I don't think we should make that worse. So this one, for that very simple reason, probably shouldn't happen. This one, honestly, is not gonna get asked anymore, but for a very long time, I saw, this is probably one of the questions I've seen the most in my chat. Odds, what if, instead of making map offerings send you to a specific map, we reverse them, and we made it so that when you use a map offering for, say, Larry's, it just prevents you from going to Larry's. I'm so sorry to all the people that have asked this question, but this is possibly the stupidest question, the dumbest idea out of this entire list. I don't understand how someone asks this and doesn't immediately... I'm sorry, I sound like really upset. I'm not. But I don't understand how someone asks this question and doesn't realize immediately what is the problem with this. So, normally, the reason survivors and killers want to use certain maps is because they want to take advantage of a certain part of that map. Maybe they have balanced landing and they want to go to a map with a tall building so they can fall from it. Or maybe they're playing a stealth killer and they want to go inside a map that is indoors. That makes sense, right? And sometimes people want to avoid certain maps. They've played 3 times in an indoors map. Now they're going to play in the opposite, right? But making map offerings reverse makes no sense, because if I'm a survivor and I don't want to go to an indoor map, let's say that I use the Hawkins offering because I don't want to go to Hawkins, well, I could go to Larry's. It just changes, it literally changes a little bit my chances, but I could still go to an indoor map. And as a killer, it's the same. If I'm playing Ghostface and I don't want to play in an outdoor map and I burn an Eerie of Crows because I don't want to go to Eerie, well, I could still go to Ormond. So this literally would do nothing. It would make map offerings completely useless. The only people that could reasonably use map offerings in this situation is survivor friends. If you have a full stack of survivor friends, then one of them could burn Larry's, one of them could burn Hawkins, one of them could burn Midwich, and now you could kind of avoid almost every indoor map in the game. But other than that, there's literally no reason to use a map offering because you're not guaranteed anything. This would only change if each player could burn 3 or 4 offerings. If you could burn 3 or 4 offerings each time, then you could use a BP offering, then you can use an anti-Larry's offering. So then it could make sense, but that's not how DBD works. So yeah, this is one of the... I don't understand why so many people ask this question. I found it so silly. Nowadays, map offerings have changed. They no longer guarantee that you go to a certain map. Now they just increase the chances by a set amount, and that's it. So I don't think we're going to say this question anymore. They're definitely not as problematic and as dominant as before. Another question that I get every now and then, I think it's pretty unreasonable, but some people still don't see the issue with it. Just show who is in a survivor fence in the lobby. Basically, when you play as a killer, you see the survivors that you're going against, and some people would like to know which of these survivors are in a group. This would give you a massive advantage. Being able to tell who is playing by themselves would allow you to make a lot of decisions and capitalize on their weaknesses. But if you really think about it, there's so much wrong with this idea. First of all, the simple first downside of this, people would just dodge lobbies. They would queue in, see that there's 4 solo survivors. Awesome, let's play. See that there's a 3-man or a 4-man group. They might be smarter, and they would just leave. This would literally make so many killers afraid, sometimes for no reason. Sometimes 4-man survivors don't really play that much better, but they would definitely get dodged all the time, which would be obviously terrible for queue times. But the more problematic aspect is that there are some strategies in DBD that really hurt solo players. Blindness is a status effect that really hurts solo players. If you slug someone on the ground and you make everyone else blind, they can't see it, it can be really devastating. But the risk of this strategy is that if you do it against a 4-man, it doesn't really work. So yeah, it would basically just allow certain killers to exploit some kind of unfun strategies on solo players, and then if they see that it's a 4-man, they just dodge. And I think when you play DBD, you need to prepare for the best and for the worst. You don't know if the survivors are going to be coordinated, maybe less coordinated, if you're going to get a great map or not so good map. I think the fact that things are uncertain is what makes this game ultimately a little bit more fair. The opposite is also true. Some people expect the survivors to have information on the killer and who the killer is. So if you're queuing as a survivor, you would see that, for example, you're going against a trapper. Oh man. Honestly, there is one good argument to be made for this particular idea, and I cannot relate to it, which is accessibility. Some people cannot play against the plague, for example, because the puking sounds make them really uncomfortable. Some people do not want to play against a doctor because the staticky images kind of trigger their photosensitivity. For these people, honestly, this feature would be amazing, and God bless them, right? But this would be otherwise an absolutely terrible idea. These accessibility issues that I mentioned, they should just be fixed on their own. Give you an option to turn off the puke sounds from Plague and replace them with something neutral and something like that. That would be much, much better. The problem with this is that a lot of killers that are strong would get dodged immediately. Even if you're not a great Nurse player or a great Kaneki player or a great Blight player, if you see an S tier killer or anything close to that, you're just gonna dodge it as a survivor. Not very fun, not great for queue times. And the worst part is that some killers have counterplay with specific items. So if you're playing Nemesis, congrats. Now everyone's gonna switch to a flashlight. And it's not like you can change killer at the last minute, because you can't change killer in the queue. And if you're playing, I don't know, Trapper, you could use a map to see the traps on the ground. Obviously that's going away soon in the next update, but my point is, a lot of killers need the element of surprise. Killers that are on the stealthy side, like for example Ghostface, killers that are on the preparation side, such as Hag, they really, really need the element of surprise. And it is honestly terrible if the people that you play against already know from the very, very first moment what you're bringing. If you've ever played in a tournament, tournaments typically work like that. The killer is already announced at the start, so the opponents know what you're doing. And playing Hag in a tournament is completely different, just because of that. Obviously the quality of the survivors too, but mostly because of that first idea that they already have, which is to, okay, we're gonna find the Hag and we're gonna disrupt her, and there's no element of surprise. In my opinion, really, really bad idea. This one breaks my heart. This one breaks my heart because honestly, it could be really good for the game to separate the serious players and the not so serious, more casual players. But the truth is, you cannot just add a rank mode in DBD. Some people ask, oh, what if we just add a rank mode? That would be perfect. It really wouldn't be. If you split the queue in two, and one of them says ranked, very serious, and the other one says casual, very casual, that in itself wouldn't do anything. A lot of people that would play really, really hard would still play on casual. And now the complaint would be, oh my god, I'm playing casual. Why is my killer tryharding so much? And there's also the whole fact that if you split the queues, the queue times are gonna start to get worse. And maybe in ranked, killers would take 10 minutes to find someone. What are the rewards that you're gonna give them? If you don't give them rewards, why would anyone play ranked? The developers definitely seem very interested in not showing us very much anything related to skill or how much exactly you know, how well exactly you're doing compared to other killers. So this seems like something they possibly wouldn't do. But even if they did, there's a follow-up question. What are the rule differences between ranked and casual? It stands to reason that, like in tournaments, in ranked, many things would be banned. So for example, maybe in ranked, survivors would not be able to repeat perks, which happens in DBD tournaments all the time, and maybe killers wouldn't have access to like the strongest add-ons, which also happens in tournaments, to balance things up a little bit. But then you have a problem, because if you ban the strongest things in ranked, then there are genuine matches in casual that could be harder than in ranked. So if you play in ranked and your opponents are kind of restrained with what they can bring, that's amazing. But then if you switch to casual, which should be easier, now you might go against 4 brand new parts, 4 sprimpers, 4 unbreakables, 4 decisives. So it creates this really weird paradox where somehow the casual queue would have more hardcore stuff than the rank one. So I really don't know how to broach this topic. I don't know how to address this, and I'm afraid the developers are not even going to try. Okay. This is not the one that I've been asked the most, but it's the one that drives me the most insane. There are some people out there that are convinced that this game's problems would all be solved overnight, completely, if they just added a voice chat. Let's completely assume, for the sake of argument, that adding a voice chat option would be easy. It probably wouldn't be technically super easy. There's so many platforms and stuff like that, but let's just assume that the developers just press a button and the next day we have voice chat. The killer obviously can't chat to the survivors. That would be pretty insane. I don't want to be chased by a bubba hurling slurs at me, but you know, that's an argument for another day. But let's say that the survivors get to chat with each other. Let's assume that it only happens once you're in game, because if you're pre-game, like that would be really weird. If someone could join your lobby, say something horrible, and then leave before you can even report them, the reporting system would have to be changed. Well, let's just address some simple facts. For American players and people in Australia, hey, maybe it could work. Most of the people that you're gonna play with speak English, so it could solve a lot of the frustrations of playing solo queue, where you're like, oh my god, the killer has this bird, guys, watch out. And there generally could be so much good that comes from being able to communicate with complete strangers. I do believe that this could be replaced by some kind of ping or communication wheel system, because the big issue with voice chat is that a lot of countries, like in Europe, you're not necessarily going to be paired with people from your same country. You're going to be playing with people from France, from Eastern Europe, from Scotland, which, you know, even if you speak English, it's going to be a little bit hard to understand them. That was a hopefully harmless joke. And that's not necessarily going to help you with communication. The biggest issue, however, is moderation and harassment. DVD already has a pretty dark history of people getting harassed and cheaters getting away with a lot of harassment, and even bad faith actors ruining charity streams and things like that by being very disruptive. If they had the option to also come in and start saying racist slurs in the chat, that would be terrible. Obviously, you could just say, well, just mute them, just disable the whole thing, right? What is the point of having something if you have to disable it just to be safe? But the biggest problem, in my opinion, is moderation. How exactly would DVD moderate this? Because I could play with you in a lobby, right? And I could record it, and I could edit it in post in an editing program and make it look like you said something terrible to me. So how exactly would the developers know if this evidence is real? They wouldn't be able to know. They would need logs. They would need for every conversation to be recorded or transcribed. And here's the problem. If everything has to be transcribed, well, you need a certain technology for that, and you need to account for every single language in the world. Right now, the developers, if you type something really, really nasty, they have a log that they can copy paste. Even if they don't speak the language, they could copy paste it through some translation and maybe understand if you're harassing someone and ban you if they need to. How exactly would you do that with possibly every language in the world when you don't speak it, even if you have some software to transcribe it? It is honestly the kind of thing that the developers of this particular game don't seem like they can take on. Right now, the reporting system is so bad, it's so slow, there's so little transparency, in my opinion. When you get a report that says, oh, there's been an action of your ban, that doesn't mean the person that you reported got banned. You don't really know what happened. You really generally know nothing. Adding more stress to the report system just seems like a terrible idea, in my opinion. That would just enable bad faith actors and would make things worse. So yeah, until we have a better report system, the voice chat idea, I don't even want to hear about it. It just seems like it would generally add nothing. Keep in mind, most people playing in a group already are on Discord. They don't need it. Most people playing solo, I would say most people don't care. So it's very possible that even if we had this system, you would put it on and the new frustration would be, yo, I'm on voice chat, why is no one answering, guys? Why is no one answering? It would literally just shift the frustration from one thing to another. It might not change much, even if it was added. So yeah, my least favorite idea of the whole list, this one. Just add base kit corrupt intervention. Some other people also changed this question to just add secondary objectives. They're both very, very similar, right? So the idea for some people is that survivors have a really easy time doing gens. Doing gens is really simple or really boring, and they get to gens really quickly and the gens go by too fast. It would be more fun if there were secondary objectives. If you had to pick up a can of gasoline, or if you had to find parts that you need to put on the generator, or, you know, or if the generator was a block at the start for X amount of time, like a base kit corrupt intervention. At high level, all of these things could theoretically work. I expect the maps would need to be changed a lot. I expect some killers would need to be tweaked a lot, but I think at high level, it could work quite well. But keep in mind, the developers have tested things like this. They have tested alternative generator types recently. They did tell us that they tried a long time ago a version of it's like an opposite endgame collapse. It would be like a starting game slowdown, and they didn't like it. And I'm gonna be very honest, it's mostly because of new players. New players have an insane amount of information in this game, and they don't process it very well. We know from the developers that new players sometimes don't know how to equip perks, and they don't know that they're supposed to play with perks because it's not explained well. They even changed it so that characters automatically come equipped with perks just in case. So that tells you already a lot. New players are so overwhelmed that the fact that generators are easy is a blessing for them. It's really, really, really good for them. And if you make generators a little bit more complicated, especially in indoor maps, which are really, really badly designed, you would absolutely kill this game. It would be so impossible for new players to know what they're doing. I would highly, highly, highly recommend to play other asymmetrical games that have this feature and then see for yourself. I played a game called Home Sweet Home a long time ago where there were no generators. Instead, you had to do a 3-step operation. You had to find some incense, put it in some place, pray to it for a little while, then do something else, and then you could kill the killer. That was such an impossibly, like, my first few games felt so impossible because I didn't know the maps, I didn't know where to go. It was really, really frustrating. Anything that complicates this for new players is going to result in them being very, very frustrated, and the kill rates are gonna spike up. And then when the kill rates at low level spike up, the developers are gonna make changes that affect all of the players, including you or me, that are a bit more experienced. So even though there is a good sentiment behind this, people want to add a layer of complexity. I think this is the wrong place to add that complexity because you're really just hurting new players. That's my impression. I don't feel super strongly about this one, but I think that's why they won't do it. This one has to be the second most asked question out of all of them. Odds, what would you think if each survivor had their own little buff, their own little unique thing? The two most popular ideas is that if you play Bill, you are forced to run one of their perks. And if you play Dwight, then you have to run one of his perks, or all of his perks. And the other idea is that each survivor would have a tiny little passive ability. Such as, for example, Dwight is 2% faster in gens, Meg is 1% faster running, Jake is 50% quieter in general, Ace gets better items in general, things like that. There's one problem with this idea, and it's that it would absolutely kill the existing variety of survivors. The existing variety of survivors is a wonderful thing in the video. You could play against 4 LEDs, you could play against one of each kind, you can have survivors that look completely different each lobby from the previous ones, and that is great. If people really like Claudette, they can Prestige 100 her and play as well as anyone else playing another character. If you make passive abilities, first of all, that is a slap to the face to anyone that specializes in one character. Because now if you played, I don't know, Jonah, and his passive is terrible, then why would you ever play Jonah? And the immediate effect that this would have is that your lobbies would start to look all the same. People would very quickly figure out which character has the best passives, and then that passive would become the #1 thing to run. And if it's Meg that has the best passive, you're only gonna see Megs. And the worst part is that if survivors that come from a paid licensed DLC have a good passive, or the best passive, now we have a very good argument that this game leans into the pay-to-win model. So, for example, if the new survivor from The Walking Dead that's gonna come out has a passive that's like stun the killer for half a second more, let's exaggerate, then everyone would want that. And then suddenly you're being left out if you can't afford it. I really like the fact that survivors all play the same. I really like the fact that you can go from one to another and there's not any big changes, and I think that should stay. That's one of the most wonderful things about DBD, and it's also something that simplifies the game for new players, which I think at this point we really need to prioritize. Because keep in mind that everything else in the game, perks, maps, mechanics, super rare scenarios, incredibly complex interactions between perks and items and stuff like that, it's starting to get so convoluted and so bloated for new players. Everything else should really be simple for them. Another one that gets asked pretty commonly, why not just allow the killer to choose where to put their hexes and make them able to relit them or replace them, or even show the killer which hex is which? Honestly, I do believe the hexes are a risky feature, a risk versus reward type of gameplay, and they should stay that way. If, as a killer, I can have 3 trap hexes and one that's the real one, and the survivors don't know which one, and I'm playing Singularity, it's just gonna be awful. Like, they're gonna have to do totems that I'm gonna defend horribly with Throw the Hunt, which is gonna slow them down. I'm gonna interrupt them, and totems can be easily interrupted. The only thing I'm gonna be able, like, the only thing that they can hope is that they get lucky. If they don't get lucky, I'm gonna defend the one totem really, really nastily, and that kind of information would generally not make hexes really, really fun. I do think that not knowing which hex you have is part of the identity of hexes, and it's fun on both sides, in my opinion. I don't think you should have that information. Being able to choose where you put your hex, I don't think is a terrible idea for a new hex. If there's a new hex, with a specific effect that is tailored towards you placing it somewhere, that's not a bad thought. Being able to move all hexes though is a little scary. Keep in mind there are a lot of places that over the months get bugged. So for example, you could go to Larry's, right? And maybe there's one totem where it spawned wrong and now the survivors can't cleanse it because there's an object in front of it. If the killer could choose which to place, anytime there's an issue like this, it would be much easier to exploit it, which I don't love. And if there's one, for example, one hex on top of a hill and you're playing against the hunters, what exactly are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? If she can choose to put that hex there, what are you gonna do? Just not cleanse it? Like, keep in mind, survivors, if you have to dodge a hatchet even for 1 second, your entire progress on that totem gets reset. And with Throw the Hunt, totems can take 30 seconds or maybe a bit less, but they can take quite a long time on average to cleanse. So yeah, this seems like a feature that really wouldn't add anything to the game, that would otherwise just create maybe rare but possible scenarios where you would be in a really unfun spot where you just can't do certain totems and they're really easy to defend. And I don't know, that doesn't seem super fun to me. If you want to rework totems or make them invisible at the start of the game so that survivors don't spawn looking at a lit totem for 10 seconds, maybe, yeah, other than small changes to hex totems, I'm all for. I don't mind. But this one in particular, I've never been a huge fan of. This one's also another one that I really don't love. The idea that you should kill switch or disable certain perks to encourage diversity. I think the perk and build diversity should be a natural consequence of all the perks being viable, or all the perks being fun, or all the perks at least being situationally good. The developers have done a decent job in the last year or 2 years in making a lot of the bad perks a lot more usable, but especially a few years ago, there were so many perks on both sides that were horrendous, like awful, terrible. Like, it doesn't do anything in most games, and even when it does, it's not much. So I don't like the idea of banning certain perks or removing certain perks to put a gun to the player's head and be like, oh, run something else. That's just not how things should work. It would create resentment. Oh, I just bought Freddy and his perk is disabled. What the hell? It would not really go well with anything. We already had a bit of a problem here, where in the old tomes, sometimes a new tome would come out and the first thing that would be in the tome would be a challenge that says, use this perk to, you know, equip this perk and escape 1 time. And you would have, for like a week straight, a lot of games that play the same. Like, everyone's using that perk, and it's not really fun. And it modifies the statistics. The developers don't really know which perks are popular, so they can't really know which ones to maybe touch or change or buff or rework if the stats are warped and they are unrealistic. So no, I don't believe personally in enforcing diversity. I think that diversity in the gameplay should come naturally. That's a very personal one. I can totally appreciate someone disagreeing with this. This one makes me a little bit sad. When people ask me this, I know it comes from a honest place of frustration. What you're gonna find when you play Killer is that some of your games go south, and some survivors are not particularly good winners. They're not good sports. They sit at the exit gates 1 meter away from the exit, right? And they teabag you and they clicky, ha ha ha, and then you come and then they leave. Or maybe they even waste as much of your time as possible and then they say GG easy in the post-game chat. It's so frustrating. And some people think that if you made the end game, the exit gate really scary, survivors wouldn't do this. If you made survivors insta-downable or insta-grabbable in the exit gate, that survivors would somehow respect the killer and all be really nice people and be all gentlemanly. I'm just gonna tell you, this doesn't happen. For those of you that played DVD for many years, you might remember a time when survivors could immediately teleport at the end of a pallet. So when you were on a pallet that was standing, if you press space, you automatically teleported to the other side. So what survivors did is they reached the pallet and they teabagged you because they were safe there, right? They teabagged you, and then when you came close, they press space and whoop, they teleported and vacuumed to the other side. Now they can't do that. So instead, what they do is they go to the pallet, they drop it, and then they teabag you. Survivors will adapt. If they cannot teabag you at the exit line, they will teabag you 1 meter before it. And it's gonna be the same thing over and over again. It is impossible to try to control BM. This question also includes people asking, odds, what if you disable crouching when survivors teabag? If they cannot teabag, they will just say yes with their head. And if they can't say yes with their head, they will click their flashlight. Survivors used to be able to click their flashlights a lot, and they changed that. It's impossible to do it quickly now. It was very annoying. It was a really annoying sound. But now they do other things. So they will always find one way to make fun of you or to try to be annoying. And there's, honestly, you can try to mitigate it, but you're never going to change that. So probably you shouldn't try. This one also gets brought up quite frequently. What if survivors could break breakable walls? Or what if they could build breakable walls? I don't think this should be a perk. If they make a new map with a breakable wall and there's like some kind of like switch next to it that if you hold it for a while you can break it and then it creates a stronger loop for the survivor, or the other way around, right? There's like a loop that's really unsafe, but if you stay in one place and you hold the lever for, I don't know, 10 seconds, then it brings up a little barrier and then it makes the loop stronger for survivor. If it's in a specific map, I think that could be amazing. It could be great. We already have an example of this in the Nostromo alien map. There are some places where survivors can hold down a lever and create a bit of a trap for the killer. That's fine, but they should not do this for every map. Every map in the game is not balanced around survivors controlling the breakable walls. Some breakable walls, if you break them, they actually make things way worse and you should never break them. And if you break them in other places, they actually make things much better. It's up to the killer to decide. If you give the survivors the ability to control, whether it's creating or removing breakable walls, you generally have to go back through every map with a breakable wall and analyze whether or not it becomes problematic. So in my opinion, probably don't do this unless you really want to go through every map and reassess everything, which I don't think the developers are going to do. This is an idea to create pallets, and funnily enough, by the time I made this video, we now have in the PTV a perk that allows the survivor to create a pallet. Now, granted, it does take quite a long time to prepare this perk, and it's not something you can spam at the start of the game or anything, and the pallet that you create is called a fragile pallet, which is a pallet that drops, and if it doesn't stop the killer, it just breaks and doesn't really do anything. So I don't think that perk in the new The Walking Dead chapter is problematic, but what if survivors could create a new pallet, a real pallet? I think this idea is, it's a little sad to shoot it down, because, I mean, the idea of creating resources, it seems fun. What if you could create a wall as well, right, which we addressed earlier? Walls, I've already explained why it's not a good idea, but pallets, we need to talk a little bit more. The thing about pallets, right, is that there's no consistency in DBD. Some maps in DBD have a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them. And they are still not terrible because the map is indoor, survivors take long to find gens, so it makes sense. For example, Midwich has a lot of indoor maps, a lot of indoor pallets, and it's not that big of a deal. Midwich is a pretty good map for killer. Then there are other maps, like for example Thompson House, that have very few pallets, and I mean very, very, very few pallets, like 8 or 9 pallets. But it makes up for it by being an open map where survivors can find gens really quickly. So even though it's not ideal for survivors, it's also not too terrible. So if you can create a pallet, it really, like one pallet, it's kind of like having a bill. Sometimes $10 is a lot of money in one country, and sometimes it's not a lot of money in another country. So how do you make it be balanced? I think it's impossible. If survivors could create new pallets and they were real pallets, you would run the problem that in some maps, survivors can run you on a really strong pallet for a long time, make you waste a shit ton of time on that pallet, and then when you break it, they just make it again. I don't think it's something that can be balanced. If the developers ever make a conscious decision to make the amount of pallets equal in every map, that could work. Some maps also have a lot of pallets because they're unsafe. So for example, Greenville Square, the map from Sable with the cinema, it has a lot of double pallets next to each other. There's a lot of them, but they're not very strong. So creating a pallet there really doesn't help you too much. So yeah. The philosophy of pallet safety is so different on each map that I don't think you can create a perk that creates normal pallets without being too weak or being too strong. If it's too fast, in some maps it will be OP. If it's too slow, in some maps it will be completely useless. So yeah. Another perk that I've heard suggested surprisingly often, what if we had a perk that allowed survivors to fast bolt from any angle? So if you don't know, when you approach a window, pallets work differently, but if you approach a window and you have a bit of a running head start and you approach from the perfect angle, which is like a 90-degree cone in front of it, you can fast bolt it, right? And that makes your animation a lot faster. If the killer's hitting you, they're probably going to struggle or maybe not get the hit at all. But that doesn't work if you're already touching the window or if you come from a completely incompatible angle. What if there was a perk to make you fastball everywhere? I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is a good idea at all. Let's just be brutally honest. The strongest killers in the game, they don't care about this. Nurse, if you fastball, she catches you anyway. Blight, what does it matter? He's gonna hit you anyway. Some of the strongest killers in the game, they are so fast and they ignore windows or they ignore loops to a degree where fast bolting a window one time is not really going to help you very much, even if you had a long cooldown. The real problem comes with some buildings not being designed around fast bolt. Some buildings have a window with a little stopper, with a little obstacle in front of it, because if you had the ability to fastball that window would suddenly be really, really impossible for the killer to outplay it in a reasonable amount of time. So basically, if you make this kind of perk, you're hurting the lower tier killers, which are the ones that really have to catch up to you. And you're also potentially breaking a lot of windows that have existed in the game for a long time that now need to be studied again, and whether or not they get completely broken. Maybe you can vault the window 3 times, the killer can do nothing about it. There are also some windows that you can fastball, but only if you're really, really good at it. And I think it introduces a nice element of skill. Sometimes when I'm chasing a survivor, they get a fastball from an angle that's like super crazy, and I go, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. With this perk, you just eliminate that sort of skill, and I think it would make the game less interesting and less fair, not more. This one, honestly, I think used to be popular some time ago when the nurse was very, very, not just considered the strongest killer in the game, which she still is, but she was also really popular, and you would see nurses very, very commonly. A lot of killers felt frustrated that their own characters were not as strong as nurse, so they asked, instead of nerfing the nurse, what if we make every character as strong as nurse, and then we balance around that? So make the survivor stronger, but make it so that every killer really, really, really has insane chase potential. And I don't think these people realize that it is literally impossible to make every character like nurse. Unless you want to literally make every character teleport through walls, teleport through pallets, ignore windows completely, which would honestly make all of the perks and all of the elements in DBD completely redundant and completely stupid. You cannot. The nurse has a power that ignores so much of the gameplay. Sure, she has to deal with lines of sight and tall walls, and that's her own little minigame, right? But she ignores so much of the game. If you make every killer teleport and blink through objects, you might as well throw away half the perks in the game that have to do with breaking pallets faster or resisting stuns or blocking windows or stuff like that, because they would be completely worthless. But what if you buff them in other ways? I don't think there is a way you can buff other killers to be as strong as nurse. Like, what are you gonna do? Give Blight infinite rushes? Okay, let's not talk about Blight. Blight is already pretty strong, to be fair. How would Trapper realistically be as good as nurse against competent survivors? We know that nurse players can go on 300 or 400 or 500 win streaks with little or no perks. How exactly would you make Trapper strong enough to be able to go on a massive win streak with no perks? The reality is, unless you want to give him a machine gun, it's impossible. So this idea, I think, misunderstands just how unbelievably unique the nurse is. I don't think the average killer should be S tier strength in their balancing philosophy. Now, a much better idea is, what if we balance every killer around Wesker, around, I don't know, Oni, around Pinhead, around Huntress? Killers that are typically A or B tier in strength. These killers are great. These killers are a great place to aim for. So people that have that sort of philosophy, that killers should all be pretty strong, and maybe a little bit weaker if they're simpler, like Legion, and maybe a little bit stronger if they're very complex and very difficult to play, like maybe Singularity. That I can totally get behind, and I think that's how killers should be balanced. Balance idea. I love this one. Actually, I really love this one. Survivors cannot repeat perks. In tournaments, they have this very simple but very effective rule that makes a lot of things really interesting, where survivors cannot repeat perks. So if there's one really strong perk, only one survivor can run it. And that introduces a lot of risk, because if you have one survivor with an anti-slugging perk, but they don't get slugged, they waste it. And if you have one perk that helps with tunneling, but then the killer tunnels someone else, that introduces a lot of variability, and it's kind of fun. I really like it. It also balances a lot of perks that would otherwise be really, really strong if you had 4 of them. So I like this in tournaments, but sadly, I don't think it's going to happen in normal gameplay. Unless there is some kind of rank mode or some special queue, I don't think it will happen. You would not be, honestly, too wrong to suggest that at high level, survivors have the ability to coordinate, and it shouldn't be too unfair that if I play with my friends, there is, maybe solo players are not affected, but if I play with my friends, then I have a restriction where we can both run Swimbers, for example. But the thing is, the average player that plays this game doesn't work like that. The average player that plays this game, they play with friends, they all have the same character because it just came out, right? Maybe they all want to do a depth, so they have the 3 Nicolas Cage perks on Nicolas Cage. It really wouldn't be fair to expect them to run unique perks. And honestly, even if they did, it wouldn't do anything for them because they're relatively new. It's not like they're using these perks to their full potential anyway. So even though this is a cute rule that could be fun in like a rank mode or a special game mode or something like that, I don't think it's gonna happen. And there's nothing you can do to Killer to enforce that variety because Killer obviously doesn't have anything unique. So if you did this for Survivors, what would you do to Killer to compensate? Would you do anything? It's an interesting idea. Probably one of the ones that if I had to pick one to do, probably would be this one out of this list. Another balance idea. Make all killers 115. So as you might know, most killers move at 115, which is 4.6 meters per second, which allows them to catch up the survivors in the normal time you would expect. But some killers have a base kit movement speed that is slower than this. We have Huntress, we have Hag, we have Spirit, we have Deathslinger. We used to have Trickster, but now he's 115. Why not make all the characters faster? The developers have explained that the reason why they don't make every killer a little bit faster is because they found that if they do make them faster, people ignore their power. So Deathslinger people will just chase and only shoot at the last time. And it does make certain characters maybe switch from a nice balance of back and forth risk to like, oh, there's nothing I can do. Either I dodge the shot and then I get run down by a killer that's fast, or I don't dodge it and I get hit anyway because the killer is fast. I think having 110 on some killers makes perfect sense. These killers could have other things change in their base kit to compensate, to make them a little bit more accessible for beginners, but I personally don't hate it. On the flip side, there are some people that suggest that killers like Blight should be 110. And I'm not too convinced that that would fix all of the problems, but if I had to choose between making all killers 115 and making some killers 110, I think I would go for the last one. But yeah, this one's a bit of a contentious issue. I personally agree with the developer's philosophy. I do think some killers, if you're not using the power, you shouldn't be playing them. If you're not using the nurse, obviously the nurse is a bit special. She's even slower than 110. She moves slower than survivors. Like, if you're not using the nurse's power, why even bother playing her, right? If you just want to play Hag like any other killer, why even bother? So I am part of the people that believe that some killers should remain 110. And ideally, there shouldn't be any loops that are so unbelievably strong that 110 killer can never catch you, right? And another problem with 110 killers that even on strong killers like Spirit feels a little rough is haste perks. Whenever you play 110 killer, haste perks absolutely dominate in chase. If you have to play Hag in a place with no traps and you're chasing a survivor that is almost as fast as you while they have a smaller hitbox, yeah, haste perks, in my opinion, are a problem. Not as bad now as some time ago, but hey, that's a different discussion. And I don't think you should overbuff or compensate killers for a part of Survivor that should be addressed on its own. And this one also comes from an honest place of nostalgia. Some people believe that every killer should be stealthy. Some people believe that feeling that you have when you play DBD for the first time and you play against your first Myers, that every match should be like this. That every killer should have the element of surprise. I don't love this idea. This is... I'm sorry. I think it would require so much changes, and what you would get at the end of it would not be that good. If every killer becomes a stealth killer, then the idea is always to communicate. The idea is always to run sprint burst visual on everyone. The idea is always to heal with a medkit in a high visibility place at the safest spot that you can. And it just changes the gameplay into... Like, I don't know if you've ever played against stealth killers as solo survivor. It's one of my least favorite things to do. If I don't bring a medkit and I'm injured, I'm basically at the mercy of my team. If they are doing well and on gens, I can play a bit safe and we'll be okay. If they heal me, that's amazing. If I don't get healed and they're not on gens, like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be on gens? It feels really, really bad to basically play solo when each killer theoretically would be testing your communication. So I personally don't love this. If every killer was like this, survivors would adapt and then it wouldn't be a big deal balance-wise, but trust me, it's not fun. If you make every stealth killer happen, basically every survivor is going to be ready. What makes stealth killers so good is that survivors are not ready for them. Sometimes you play Ghostface, you run into 2 people, you mark them and down them both because they were expecting a trapper, because they were expecting another Kaneki, and that's how it works. If they knew that every killer is stealthy, trust me, you would never get the same results that you're getting now. So this is one of those monkey paws that if you asked for this and you got it, it probably wouldn't turn out the way you want to. Now, this is the most comprehensive list I could come up with. I'm sure there are other questions that I've turned down or that I've disliked or other suggestions that I don't think would be good for the game that I forgot. If you have one idea that you see in the community all the time, brought up and suggested all the time, and that you think would be terrible for the game, leave a comment down below and maybe I'll reply or tell you if I agree or disagree with it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be linking this video to a lot of people that asked me questions, and yeah, hope it was a good time. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye. The 50 wins in a row series is one of my favorite pieces of content that we did on this channel. The last time we did one was 2 years ago, and there's a very good reason for that. The game has become even more competitive now with the new matchmaking system. I'm growing a little bit older, and frankly, I just wasn't all that motivated to try. Some killers were strong, but I didn't really like them. Some killers I really liked, but were not very strong, and it was hard to get anywhere with them. But that changed recently with the arrival of the Unknown. This was the first character that I really liked in a long time that was also really strong. So without thinking it too much, I started a win streak and eventually got to a really nice number. And part of the success behind this is no doubt the build that I used. It looked like this. It has Pain Res and Pop, 2 of the best regression perks in the game. They really need no introduction. Every time you get a hook, you typically get a lot of gen regression, which helps you stay in the game. And paired with them, we have Lethal Pursuer. Lethal Pursuer allows you to see everyone at the start of the game and pick the target that is best for an early chase. It also shows you if people are immune to auto reading with distortion and makes other auto reading perks a little bit better by lasting longer. And this is very important because the 4th and pretty much most important perk in this entire build is Nowhere to Hide. This is a perk that allows you to see survivors around you when you kick a gen. And read that again, it's around you, not around the gen. That means that if you kick a gen and then you teleport, you see people everywhere, both where you kicked it, but also on your arrival. With Nowhere to Hide, you can find survivors across the entire map very consistently, and this made this build incredibly powerful. Unlike some other killers, the Unknown doesn't need any crazy complex strategy in order to win. If you use Lethal Pursuer to pick a group of survivors that are in the open and get a good short chase with your first one, this will often trigger a cycle of hooks, which then is followed by regression, which is followed by more hooks, which is followed by more regression until someone is dead. And when there's only 3 survivors left, this killer is very hard to beat. If you get really good at using your UBX in chase, this alone will win you most of your games. You want to practice hitting survivors in the open when they're trying to dodge you. You want to practice hitting them from afar, especially when they're unaware of your position. You want to also make sure that you know how to hit them when they drop a pallet in front of you, which is easy to mess up. And most importantly, the thing you want to spend the most time learning is what are the spots where survivors can be hit through walls. Eventually, this kind of hit will be your bread and butter. On top of this very solid chase power, the Unknown also has a passive ability to leave clones behind every 45 seconds or so. You want these clones to not be all in the same spot, but instead spread them out across the map, ideally next to gens that you really care about. You will notice that a clone is about to spawn when the visual effect is beginning to fill the screen. If you realize that you're not in a good spot for a clone, you can actually tap your power to interrupt the spawn. Doing this will not actually slow you down and will allow you to place it very precisely, say next to a gen, or even better, next to a gen, also next to a loop. If you do this, survivors trying to run that loop will find themselves in lose-lose situations where they will get hit no matter what. Since tapping your power button doesn't slow you down at all, you can actually use this in chase to bait a survivor into thinking that you're about to shoot them, and when they try to dodge desperately, just hit them normally. A very nasty trick. One more thing that you will learn very quickly is that the Unknown is incredibly good at punishing survivors that are grouped up. So if you notice that someone has been left on the hook for a bit too long and that the rescue is imminent, you can make the unhooking process very painful for them. If multiple survivors are weakened at the same time, they will often use this opportunity to all stare at you from different angles to remove the status effect. This would be a good time to teleport away or hide behind cover to make sure that each survivor has to take a lot of risk in order to remove the weaken and maybe even go down while they do so. Now, these strategies and build were very helpful and made me win most of my games pretty comfortably, but that's not what I'm going to show you today. What you're going to see in this video are the 4 most intense, close and stressful matches out of the entire 50. We had a group of survivors that played incredibly altruistic and managed to rescue each other 4 times, which almost drove me insane. Another match that took place in Hawkins where survivors literally managed to open the gates with multiple survivors alive and somehow we didn't lose. We also played on the new map with a really bad start and found ourselves only 2 hooks with 2 gens left to go, and it was time to make an insane comeback. That one is really crazy. And the last match is just brutal. Nothing worked right. Everything seemed to go wrong. Our build somehow was not stopping the gens from popping. And there's also one more twist that I'll reveal about that match when you get to it. Really worth sticking to the end. Please enjoy. Alright, chat, we do our absolute darndest to win this one, okay? Let's go. Oh, damn. Far away. Distortion, it seems? Or am I missing something? Yeah, distortion, it looks like. There are some gaps you can shoot through. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think it was worth it. Oh, nice. Bit of an end. Bit of a dead end, too. Oh, excellent thing. That would have been really sweet if we managed. I think she outpositioned herself to do this. You are shitting me, dude. What the is that luck? What the is that luck, dude? That hit her here. Fuck. Okay. No biggie. Lucian's still there. It's not good, chat. It's not good. Read her like a book. There's no window there. They dispelled the illusion. She had overcome, by the way, or something, because that was way too quick. That was good, though. You needed that super badly. It's a good painters as well. Let's go. No BS background player. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see who explodes. What explodes? Well placed, thank you. Shit. Now we teleport to that in a jiffy. Let's kick this real quick. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, put that in there. Don't see anybody? Oh, there we go. Very nice. This is an M1, chat. What does it look like to you? M2. Sure. Oh, wow. What the hell is that? I don't know why they can't blind me, chat, but I mean, it's working to my advantage, so whatever, I guess. Very nice, don't let her see me. Wasted the speed boost. Nice clone we put down. This girl is toast, don't fall for anything stupid. We are Gucci. Oh, Nancy's been down, so survivor 1 and 4. Gotcha. Did we go for a painters? I'd say so, yeah. If they body block this, well, too bad, I guess. Do they body block this? They do. Go for Nancy then. No biggie. This was something we assumed at risk for. Go for Nancy now. This is Michaela, but in white. I don't know. I think I've lost Nancy a bit. Oh, there she is. Can I get a freebie? Yeah, sure. Kick this, teleport immediately after. Actually, break this first. They're gonna heal. We're gonna teleport to one of them and we'll see them with nowhere. I do not see them, but I mean... Oh, even better. I thought that was gonna miss somehow. I don't know why. Wouldn't matter too much. Yeah, that perk is so fun and healthy for the game, guys. It's so fun and healthy for the game. I bet it's not gonna get annoying anytime soon. That gen got hit, good to know. This girl was very clueless. Let's pop that, hook her, and then pop that. Also, let's snipe this. Didn't quite make it. I could have waited, maybe. Wait. That's good. Excellent. We use this clone to teleport for the pop later. Oh! Where? That's not very good, though. Oh, that's pretty nice. Wait, why couldn't I pick it up? What do you think, Chad? Pop that one or pop this? I mean, well, easy choice. Nice, easy hit. Not sure if that was light or what, but... I mean, we'll take it, right? Yeah, that wasn't too good. I'm afraid. Nope, really not too good. Could have been damage if we didn't let her see us, for example. Is this damage? I think so. Good enough. They're healing here somewhere, but no worries, we'll figure it out. Mind the flashies. Try to look away from where they might have been. This girl's already giving me a pain, and it's her second. Yeah, this is chill. I think you guys are behind here somewhere, so... Yeah, you are. You 100% are. I want to go... Oh, Sable's behind. Oh, but you're not Sable. Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't blind me with that, but... Whatever, right? They're starting to wisen up a little. We have 4 hooks, but I don't feel too confident about this. Believe it or not. Okay. Hello. Oof. Bit of a misplay from my part, chat. Not too bad, not too bad. But we gotta hurry up. She can't really go anywhere. Bad idea. And I think Appenders as well, I'm pretty sure. Maybe kick main and then teleport. I will not get blinded by that, dude. What the actual man? Oh, man. It also resets her health states. That fucking blows, man. Oh my lord, dude. It's fine now. We'll be okay. Oh, dude. This is so much harder this way. So much harder than it needs to be. Lost 20 fucking seconds for nothing! Oh my lord. Alright, fine! Kill me, dude. That would have been a fucking beautiful Pandas. We're gonna lose another gem before I get to this, if the other two have been applying themselves. Oh, dudes. That is not very good at all. Shit. Oh, they still have the Shannon done. Let's do it. Please no last 9. That's good, but it's on a timer. Close one too. Nice job. Shift up. Good shit. Alright, are you dead by any means? That would be lovely if you were. Oh yeah, dude. Nah, don't worry. Don't worry. Just look at the edge of the map. But also, just expect them to be f***ing everywhere, man. Alright, watching this back, it's very obvious that I was very stressed here. This was my first match of the day. We were very far into the challenge. And all of the complaining and the swearing, that's just my frustration speaking. I promise you, I'm not upset. I get over this kind of stuff very quickly. F***ing lovely, man. fucking awesome, man. Can't wait for people to defend that. She should be dead here. Unlucky. Yeah, awesome, man. Love it, really. Excellent. Where are you? Where the f are you? She stares at me now. This is so ridiculous, man. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. How many fucking second fucking times I need to down people, dude? So you're that hard. You have it. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. That's so fun, guys. It's so fun. Look at a wall. Yeah. Just look at any wall. Super easy, man. Super easy, dude. Super easy to counter. Super easy to counter. Just don't look anywhere. Just have Lightborn, chat. Just have Lightborn. That's the answer. If you don't like it, just have Lightborn. And also, when you put on Lightborn, then they can also obviously die on pallets, and that there's Lightborn doesn't work against that, but it doesn't matter. Just run Lightborn. That's a good one. I cannot do this, dudes. I cannot do this. We need clones on that side of the map. A fucking sap. Delay. 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 Fucking kill. Can that
Fucking friend.
not be anywhere near me? Please! Oh my god, dude. Alright, watch her get this fucking save as well, dude. Holy. Respectfully, of course. You still have 3 gens left. Doesn't matter if they're both 99 and then we're at 1 gen left. Not good, chat. Not good. Not good. Oh, fuck. Alright. Time to go. I saw a person hiding, but this is maybe more important. Sorry, that was a big fuck up on me. Can I spam power? Yeah, spam power. Put a cloner on here. That's better. Who's this? I can't, dude. This is unbelievable, man. I'll play by her, honestly. She was on my side. Nice shit, panicked a little. Okay. Well, that girl probably gets this flashy save. Oh, she doesn't. Yeah, teabag all you want, man. F***ing hell, dude, what a match. That's so unlucky. This girl, I think, has been dead on court for like half the game, and she's been saved like 3 times. It's been really obnoxious. But we can't commit to her right now. No, while they've triple manned this shit. You know what I mean? Unlucky. Ah, they might just be healing there. Sable's dead though if we catch her. What do I want? Ah, Sable's good. She's seeing me now. I don't know what to do, chat. I don't know what to do. This is hard. Wow. Okay, shit. Well played by them. Lucky. Stupid situation, but a chance of nothing. I was hoping to hit that gen. They're not on it anyway. Would have missed. Come on, do a stupid reset somewhere really unsafe. Someone's behind me. Not sure what we're doing, chat. Not sure what we're doing. Maybe. Oh, blood. Blood. Can finally. I'm not even sure if she is that on hook. Well, I'm gonna face that way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude. Anything else? Anything? You want wine with that as well? Anything else you want served on a platter? Holy shit. I cannot stand this game. Whew. Oh my lord, dudes. Please no. Please no more. Leave her. This is looking good for us-ish, especially if this is Sable. It has to be because there's no blood. I think I just saw someone here. Alright, did I, chat? I did not see shit. Shack shack. Oh, I see. Alright. Can I kill this girl before they do 2 gens? Is the question we need to ask ourselves right now. Oh, yes, if we keep landing those. We don't have good clones for this chase, though. I am a fucking god, dude, if I land that. This is really bad, though. I don't fucking see her shot at all. Oh, fuck, man, I can't do this. This is too hard. Like, that boss is gonna kill me. I only missed two shots, the game's over. I don't know what to do. Other than get out of read and snipe people! Let's fucking go. I'll take another clone if possible. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Where's Sable? There you go. It's time to disable you! Let's see, you're that hard. You don't have it. Alright. Dead. I don't care what Nance is doing unless they pull off a miracle. They're dead, and we know that the person with background player is miles away. Sorry guys, I'm letting frustration speak for me a little bit. I know I'm getting heated up. I might be like, oh, you're doing fine. Yeah, not really. Not really. I am riding the struggle boss at the moment. Alright, let's go. We should be able to commit to this. This kills me hook once at least. Valiant effort. But no thank you. Alright, chat. I think if I hook here, this is good enough. I can literally just sit by this hook and it doesn't matter what's going on. I don't remember if she's the one dead or if it's Nancy. Alright. Can I kick this or does this mean that it's been kicked too many times? Oh. You try to make sense of that, I guess. A bit late on this teleport, but that's okay. Okay. Which one shot? This one. Alright, what made this match so frustrating is that this killer is generally very good at getting downs, right? But it just didn't matter because the downs we got were not leading to anyone dying, and they were leading into flashy rescue, flashy rescue, flashy rescue. So I was losing my mind, dude. The chases themselves weren't too bad, really. Oh, man. There was only one time when I felt a bit powerless, and that was at the boss when everything else was going kind of bad, and that was the kind of moment where if we jinxed it, oh, we would have thrown that match. GG's though. Goodness, what a great game. Yeah, it really was. Let's see what they brought. I don't think they brought anything that extraordinary, did they? Like, this is the crazy thing about background player. Like, doesn't matter. Like, the rest of the perks don't matter. Even the flashlight itself doesn't need to be super strong. Just one perk completely changes the way you play. And as I said, the flashlight rescue is not even the strongest part about this perk. The strongest part about this perk is when people start to drop at pallets. And then you're like, okay. You know, a survivor can zoom in from like 20 meters away. They could be behind any bush and get a pallet rescue. And there's F all you can do about that. What's the streak at? Let's not talk about that, Chad. Let's say it's a 1, okay? Let's say it's a 1. Aren't you afraid unknown will get a nerf since his teleports lock him important spots almost instantly? It's possible, Chad. It's possible. There are killers that are really decent. And they even get buffed because they're hard. You know? What my impression with this killer is that because it's very punishing if you don't get your power right immediately, we're very likely to not see a super high kill rate. You know what I mean? You know, this is the kind of killer where if you play his power, Jesus, that's literally the goddess palette I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Might leave him shot. What? That was grotesque. He didn't run into it. Let's leave him. It sucks, but we gotta... Is that a sprint burst? I can't tell. Oh my lord, dude. Well done. Should get her, but she definitely gets rid of that. Oh, good thing, bad thing? I don't know about that shot. I think bad thing. We'll see though. Bad stuff. They haven't popped the gen together. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can we save one gen with this? Lady, please? Super big. Pop this. Here, we might see someone above. Yeah, we do. Do we see anybody else? Do we do anything here? Unsure what's the best way to do this. Let's put a clone higher up. Yeah, that's decent. Alright, I'll take a kill. Damn, 2 gens, man. Unfortunate. Jesus, please hurry up. Not sure what I should have done there. I know what I need to do next, though. Off the record on this girl. Yeah, don't hear her things. Well, one thing is going on. You fuckers, man! Holy sh**. What the f***? Yeah, I know, right? Oh, but there's one thing going on. In our favor. Nice. Let's see her that hard. Alright, this girl's... Like, these people are pushing me so hard already, dude. Oh, you DC? You DC? You have the goal to DC? The nerf? Oh no, I'm not doing as well as I could be doing. We've only popped 3 gens in 3 minutes. This game is basically lost. Oh no, I didn't receive 37 presents this year. Fuck children, dude. I cannot stand this. I need to go. One of these gens is being half done and we need to pop it. I can't pop a gen that's at 10% even if it gets me out of read. We need to worry about this. No fuck. Please let me navigate this shit map. Nah, it's better. It's really good. Teleport away. Alright, you stupid ass fucking piece of shit bot. Where the f is your ass? Are you in the basement healing? Do they use that? Good question, right? I don't know. These scratch marks aren't hers. The body's right there. She's crouching. Do I kill her? Just for a little pop? I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know if bot's actually gonna juice me up. I don't have a lot of experience playing against a bot with this character. It could be actually really tough, no joke. Or maybe not. She does look at me, though. What the f***? Okay. Keep in mind, you do not mind game bots. The only reason I did that is because I didn't want to be seen. What the f***? Where is she? Oh, Christ. Please, God. She saw me anyway. Why am I losing to a f***ing bot? It's so frustrating. We're gonna try, Chad. We're gonna try. If they're all in on one of the gens, I don't think all the painters in the world are gonna be good here. Yeah, that gen there is super down. Hey, we don't stop that, do we? That one's a nothing. That one over there is a nothing. But they popped this in my face. Yeah! Woo! So fun! Okay. Teleport and door. Absolute best shot. Holy shit. We're losing this at this rate. No f***ing shots! I can't stop it! Oh, dude, this gates have been open for the last 2 years already. Yeah. Cool, man. Wait. This guy's f***ing up, though. Why? Why is he doing this? He gets a 3-man out or something? Just in case it isn't obvious, these survivors could have 100% gotten 2 people out if they tried to do that. But they seem pretty confident that they could escape with at least 3. And that gave us a second chance. Why is he doing that? Isn't he losing the game right now? Sure is. Maybe they have unbreakables, deliverances, and yada yada, but... Alright. Can't kick a gem for auto read. Please don't have stupid things. Where am I? Nah, they have something. There's no way they risk it like this. That's good though. It had deli. Yeah? Go have a good day then. Oh, you're fucking joking. Oh my god, I hit a fucking rail. Don't you fucking there. I don't fucking give a shit. Where are you? I don't fucking know, chat. What am I doing? How do I find her? I'm scared, chat. I'm scared. Yeah, of course. I got it. Alright, we should be good now. Hook her in basement, and then I follow up with the basement hook, probably. Oh my lord, dudes. Oh my lord. I mean, to be completely fair, if they're smart, they could go pick up right now, have MFT and whatever, so it is a bit scary. She's crawling. This should be okay, I think. Yeah. Please don't have the funny perk. Please, God, I beg you. No anti-camping in game 2, so that's good. The only problem right now is if he shows up and that girl hooks herself also with... Oh, no, Deli. You guys are f***ed. You guys are absolutely cooked. Oh, it was our second hook, Chad. Good shit. No way you're taking these 3 kills from me. No way in hell, dude. Don't care if I have to body block you. Nah, you're not getting anything from me. Coming. Body blocked it. He could have deli as well. Do not trust shit. He could have unbreakable as well, for all we know. Oh my god, dude. Why is this game so stressful sometimes? Yep. She didn't go down here because she used Dead Heart. Let's watch that again. She actually landed a Dead Heart there. Very, very good stuff. Luckily, we only needed 3 kills to count it as a win. I mean, at this point, even if they unhook themselves. Jesus. Pick up, drop him as many times as we have to. Yeah, that goes out. Doesn't matter. Wait until she's the last one. Could have plot twist and a bunch of other stuff. Wait for him. It's gonna die to whatever the heck. Oh my lord, dude. Alright. No deli, no lucky 4%, no nothing. Hatch is right there, by the way, if he gets out. Nice comeback. I don't know how that was so difficult. I don't know what the hell they brought. I don't know if they had a... They had 1 toolbox, if I remember correctly, going into this lobby. 3 medkits, 1 toolbox. If I remember correctly, I could be remembering from the previous game. But there's no way 1 toolbox made those in so fast, man. They just were mad efficient, I guess. Let's see what they brought. Yeah, that toolbox not even that good. This is a pretty... That saves you like, what, 6 seconds on a gen? Literally nothing. Bruskies. Bruskies. And that Claudette knew exactly what she was doing in the endgame. Luckily this guy had no unbreakable, no nothing, and that was all really, really lucky. 2 stipped, you know, syringe stipped, that's just normal at this point. Like every game that's difficult always has one of these things, you know what I mean? It's like playing Survivor and seeing the killer has painters pop. Like, yeah, what do you expect? GG's. Is this a streak? Yeah, small one, chat, small one. Maybe my remarks are high enough, but I don't see that hard on. No, it's fine, it's fine. It's really not as popular as it used to be, but I do see it in a lot. Oh my god, dude, what the hell? Oh, that guy's in the parking lot waiting for his dad to pick him up. Let him. These 3 are just being gen warriors right now, so. Unlucky, you think we missed, or were they just better gamers? Some of them will be hiding here 100%, so. These people are already so good at countering this, holy shit, man. Now she drops it because I'm on cooldown. Nice, okay. That's kind of what happened earlier, but it didn't go so good for us. That was not very good, chat. She's getting rid of this. I gotta leave her. Not a good place. God damn it. No mind game, mind game. Ha! You got me, to be fair. I'll take it, I'll take it, I'll take it. Bad start, but we'll pick ourselves up. No worries. This map, dude, that spawn was absolutely f***ing cruel. You notice how f***ing far they were? Imagine if we didn't have discordance or lethal. Absolutely terrible, man. She also got rid of that thing, which is not very good. Oh, so well played by them. She had sprint burst. Kill me, dudes. How come, man? Alright, she fucked it up. We need this chase to turn back immediately. I think that was a simpler way of dealing with that. Get the damage now. Get the down now, or it will never win. Ah, she did a good job, and I did not, simply. I hit one of them. Fascinating. This needs to happen now, please! I need it now! No more holding forward! Fuck, dude. She beats me to that, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. One of the most annoying loops in this map. I swear, it's not that complicated. Fuck, I've lost it. This was such a bad start! I can't shake it off. Okay, we have one redeeming factor. We mine all the 3 gems for it. I have no idea where I'm going, Chad. But this might be a candidate. If they find this later, I'm not losing immediately, but I will lose later. That was really good. Remember, that damage was sponsored by the fact that earlier we hit her through an insane wall. That could have been a really nice down if God was on our side, but I guess we didn't go to church this Sunday. I'll go to church, I promise! Fuck. I don't know where the fuck she is, chat. Alright, just call it a fucking day, man. Just call it a fucking day. That's fucking close. This fucking blows. This better be the best painters we've ever done in our lives, dude. We've had so many survivors doing gens uninterrupted for this long. I don't like it. I don't know what we're doing. That's Sable. Is that the girl we want? Kinda. That could have been sweet. No luck though. Oh. Oh, this is nearly done. Let's pop it if possible. Yay! Woo! Awesome! Honestly, man, it's my bad. I don't know where the f she went. Make this unhook very difficult. There's no way we're gonna win if we allow them to collect themselves and take it easy. Why couldn't I put that, chat? What am I too close to? To the hook, maybe. They're all here, I'm fairly sure. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. He healed with medkit, maybe. I have no clue what they're doing. Well, start fucking running then. Oh well, I'm chasing Sable? Holmes, where? Nah, that ain't happening. No, it ain't happening. No, it ain't happening. Hit them both. That's really good. Don't let them see me. Nah. That was an insane fucking lucky hit. Let's fucking go. That was really good as well. Let's fucking go, Chad. Let's fucking go. We come back from these. We do. Let's do it! Make them furious! Alright, very important. Hit whatever the f gen, teleport as far as possible, find them resetting. They will be resetting. Hit this at 1%, doesn't matter. Oh, why can't I teleport though? I just did it in chase, to be fair. Let's fucking go, dudes. He's gonna fuck it up. 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 He did. I'm so sorry. Where the f did he go, chat? I do not know. I'm actually super confused. The girls are still picking themselves up. This girl's dying. Let's see if they're coming. They just finished the heal. Whereabouts? Don't see it. I do care a lot, though. That could have been huge. Hide myself. I don't want him to undo his damage. Now this girl can't rescue either. And we just played the dirtiest unknown game of all time. No joke. Okay, really good. Put a drone. One more shot at this. You should see the girl coming from the left now. Oh, she's out of here. That's good. Go for this girl because she's dead on hook. Let's see your dead heart. You don't have it. Oh, Resi. I messed up. Really good play from her. I waited a bit long because I didn't want to eat it. This is a bit troublesome, Chad. We do have a clone very far, which is going to help us. I can't tell where she went. What? I'm sorry, what? Just in case, Chad, just in case. Yeah. Kill her and everything is fine and right. My bad. Wait, does she make it to that pallet? It's dropped. Imagine if she had dead heart now, I would scream so loud you guys would hear me outside of your monitors and headsets. This is a painters though. Let's go, boyos. Not this one though. Alright, if you notice my hooks on the bottom left, I have 2 kills and 6 hooks. That means no one else has been hooked. That's just how it works. So this guy could have Wicked, Deliverance, yada 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 yada. It's very unlucky and very well played by him, I have to say. But he also cannot have that heart, so I don't need to hesitate there. This means that the next hook ideally is a Paintress, just in case we, you know, I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know what I mean. And we do not get to camp this guy. They're back in there. You know, because they are weakened, I think they might not make it actually. Oh, that's unlucky. Never mind, she did make it. What the hell? Killer D tier? Oh my gosh. Yeah, they played really well, man. Honestly, they really played so well. Oh, or maybe rather I played like ass until I didn't, and that's why they almost beat me. Did Zarina have resilience? Okay. Wow. Well, that's a learning moment. You saw what happened there, right? I could have hit her, but I was really scared of a dead heart. So I didn't, and then she vaulted, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit her last second, and that 9% messed with me hardcore. Damn, well played though. They didn't really have that much item, so very impressive. Well done. Alright, now we get to the spicy part of this video. You see, after the matches that you just watched, we eventually made it to our 50th game in a row. And this was on Badham, not a very good map, but we got pretty lucky and we won. And it was at this time that I revealed to my audience that I was actually doing a win streak. Before that, I was dodging questions, being very evasive, and pretending that I wasn't doing a streak, just so that we wouldn't attract the attention of stream snipers or cheaters. But I had made a mistake. When I was reviewing all the matches, I realized that we were not at 50 wins, we were actually at 49. There was a match where survivors disconnected and they gave up immediately, and according to my rules, if I don't get to play the game even a little, that is not a win. So we had to play one more match the next day, and immediately something went very, very wrong. Is slugging a toxic behavior or viable strat? It's both, Chad, it's both. If you do it because it's the only thing you can do, it's not bad. If you do it because you just want to be salty, it's not nice either. Don't do it if it's unnecessary. Alright, Chad, let's go. Where are we? One person that is a Springburst user probably, and 3 distortions. That is tough when I'm up like this. Yeah, that's the Springburst. Oh, not too nice. We didn't hit them both, but... So the third Sable is the one that we can see. No way. That's really good of her. She's seeing me throw out. There's someone hiding around the corner there, but that sucks. Wait, are you going basement? Are you serious? Oh no. She knows she couldn't go there. Wow, I was gonna say that didn't hit her. It did. That was a really strange shot. Did she think she was second floor, maybe? Jokes. Chat. I was not gonna shoot. Nice, good enough. She knows my build, but it doesn't matter. She knows 2 of my perks already. We don't know what the other guys are doing, so we shouldn't have wasted that time. Is there an event right now? We should have really not wasted that time. Yeah, there is, Chad. So which gen popped just now? I didn't even see it. Not very good. Oh, hello. Wow, unlucky. Is that a hit? What do you think? Oh, because of the event it was, funnily enough. Come on, teleport us up, please, please, please. Nice job. This pop is, I think, unnecessary, but the painters maybe helps. Hello. Do we want to take multiple hits? Nah, I hook here. It's too risky. Nice Springburst on them. Unlucky. Oh, this is the gen that pop. Not too smart, I think. That's a good clone. I think we go. Hello. That's good. That's really crazy, but okay. To my left. If I let her stun me, shot, would that be good enough? Oh wow, impressive, very good. What do you think? Unlucky, but we gotta go, I think. This could be a bad tunnel, really bad tunnel. Especially if she has off the record, so... Oof. Yeah, no, we're losing this, chat, we're losing this. Yeah, teabag me all you want, I cannot chase you. This is the healthy person, most likely. I gotta go. That was terrible. Let's just hit it. Should have killed her here. I'm gonna kick this, but it's really bad. Oh, that was good though. I don't think she makes it anywhere. If they have been doubling up a gen though, we might lose this. Because I don't think I get a Apprentice out of this, but we'll see. They did have 2 flashes, didn't they? Yeah, they try. What? We're at 2 gens already, bruh. Not very good, chat, not very good. Where'd your friend go? Interesting. He must have had balance or something. Keep looking behind me. Yeah, that's good. I think this painter is gonna do nothing. Shit, I'm gonna hook, but I'm not too sure it's really helping us. Yeah, it might actually not even consume the token or hit a 1% gen somewhere. We'll see. It did consume it, sadly. To be fair, this girl has to be rescued and maybe they don't have reassurance, so that's not looking too good for them. We haven't even talked about the fact that one of them is injured. Am I making a mistake camping this? Very possibly. They could have Delhi, for all I know. That's good. Just do not let that other girl rescue. This guy hitting stage 2 doesn't do too much for me, actually. He could also get anti-camp. That's good though. That other girl did get a heal. I'm guessing she'll come from down below now. Can she? Can she come now? I don't know. I have no idea. We have one hook on everyone. It's really not looking too good. This guy has no off the record. But other than that, it's looking terrible, chat. So I think we lose this if they do gens at the speed they've been doing them so far. This should be a painter's, man. This should be a painter's, but it's not gonna be because we wasted on a gen that might have been a 1%. I also have very little grip on the gens. Teleport here and check on the ones we can see at least. Oh, the one in music room, but they dispelled the hallucination. Yeah, they probably popped this before I show up. Every one of my gen regression perks has just been a bit too late, and I think this one's gonna pop. No, it's not. That's good. She's not looking. Alright. Let's hope she makes a big blunder, chat. We need her to make a big blunder. Oh, unlucky. She dispelled it. That would have been a really good down to get. What do you think these guys want? Doesn't want to get tunneled, obviously. Oh, that's unlucky. I didn't need that long cooldown. Huge stuff, chat. Huge stuff. That might have saved the entire game. If I get this guy down now. If I could have sniped him through that, but too risky. I don't win this game, by the way, by killing this guy. I need to do more than that. I don't know why they're giving me this downs though. No scratch marks, keep in mind. Let's go and pop it now. We'll find that guy later. Hopefully. That's the part I didn't say out loud. Hopefully. That was so good of her. Nice job, dudes. These guys are good. That hard. Good clone. Wait. They lose the game here. If they're not careful. You think they can finish that on my nose? No, they don't. Let's pick you up. Ruskies. It comes down to one gen like this, and as close as this. Please don't be in that locker. I don't know if this girl is giving me painters yet, chat. There's two sables. I think she might have. But she might have also not. That girl just healed to my left, I'm pretty sure. Pray, pray, pray. They could also be on another gen, to be fair. Time to go and check, I guess. Oh, please don't be on this gen now. They are not. That's good. They could be back on that one now. Jesus, give me back my teleport, please! I'm also gonna need a teleport next to the gates, because it's gonna come to that, most likely. Let's pop this. I would like to see someone, but... yeah, distortion on literally everybody. Except the one person. I could have waited for Paintress, for Dead Heart, but I don't think they have it. That's huge. Oh my god, the one time it works. Not sure if it's Paintress, but doesn't matter. It's not. I need a clone here. That's good. Kate and bottom Sable, they don't hook. They seem to be struggling gen-wise. Let's catch them. Bro, I don't like this. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Oh, they're here, they're in this room. Did they reassure through the thing? They did not. She's dying in a few seconds. Kate cannot exchange. I mean, if she does, she's dead, so... I guess I'll take it. We have a problem, though. I'm gonna pick up before they can get a flashy save. I don't care. Just kill them. The gens are not that advanced. Final Painters, too. And it's this gen, which lets us know that we don't need to worry about the other two for at least a second. I saw this killer here a moment ago. This was a really close game. I think this was the first time we've seen 3 distortions well utilized too. You know what I mean? Chat, let me remind you, for anyone that just joined, this is our 50th win in a row after we discounted that game where there was a DC. Or a give up or whatever. So you can imagine the emotions that are going through my mind right now. I'm gonna delay. I want a clone here before I leave anywhere. I mean, they can hide forever, I guess, but let's hope they don't. That's good. Does she see me from there? Possibly? Yeah. They're both on hook, so let's just get this shit down. As soon as I kill one of them, that's a win.